2025 Conservation Commission meeting for Franklin. And before we go further, I need to take a roll call.
Richard Johnson's here.
Louis Pug is here.
Mark LePage here.
Jeff Livingstone.
Roger Trahan.
And anyone online?
Yep, Nicole.
Nicole?
You're muted, Nicole.
Present.
All
Okay.
right.
All right,
Good
good.
to see you.
Thank you very much, guys. Okay, and without further ado, before I say that, please note that we are both recording video and audio for the meeting. If there's anyone in the audience or anyone online that wishes to do either, please let us know so that we at least know if there's a recording being taken. Thank you very much. And without further ado, I
Oh,
will.
Michael's here. Hello, Michael.
Oh, and Michael, so say, Michael, say you're here.
Ryan, here.
Okay.
Excellent.
Okay, so what I'd like to do is open up the hearing for the NOI for Louise Drive. And I have here that there was a peer review response submitted, but unfortunately it came in after the deadline. Rika, is that correct?
Yep, and then revisions from the applicant came yesterday, I believe.
Okay,
So I'd recommend a continuance to April 17th. At this point, it's merely administrative to allow time for the commission to review.
yes,
And then at the next meeting, I'd likely recommend approval of an order of conditions.
okay, great. Is there anyone here for Louise Drive?
Hi, Kevin Demers from Deprete. I am just here to observe, but yes, we did submit the final comment to the peer review letter yesterday
Okay,
for consideration for the next hearing.
okay, great. Is there anyone in the audience or online that has any questions or comments about Louise Drive? Okay, there being none, I'll take a vote to continue.
Give you a motion to continue the NOI for Louise Drive to April 17th, 7:01.
Second. Vote to continue.
Vote to continue.
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 Abstain.
Continue.
Oh,
Oh,
abstain.
Continue.
sorry, yep, sorry. Thank you very much, thank you.
Thanks, Michael.
Mike, yes, unfortunately, that's true. We have to abstain, you abstain, and Jeff has to abstain. So thank you for reminding me.
Yes.
Nicole?
Continue.
Thank you.
Roger, did you?
Well,
Continue.
He
Okay.
continued, yeah.
Okay, I did, sorry.
Thank
I
you.
didn't.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. And now I'd like to open up the second hearing, which is the NOI for 126 Grove Street. I see that there's a note here that the applicant has requested to continue. Is there anyone here for 125?
That's me.
Okay, all right.
So, we do recommend that, or request that eventually this be continued. We recognize that we submitted everything, late, but our client has asked to give you guys an update on where we're at
Okay,
and
great.
what was just submitted. And then Ed Cannon is online, to speak to you all as well. But if there's anything else you need to do to open it, or if I have the floor, I can kind of give it over there for you where things stand.
Great.
Yes.
Sure. Previously, we have been waiting on soil testing to confirm the incorporated capacity of the stormwater basin. That's been done, the official results received, and the plan has been revised based on that. That weren't supposed to be the only revisions that were being done, but that was what was kind of the linchpin behind everything. So the results in this basin were good. This is the basin with the existing wetlands here that are being partially filled. The upland portion saw, fairly fast infiltration rates, and so after discussing with Beta, Gary James, we determined that was a good candidate for infiltration. Another request that was in the comment letter was the addition of a access road for the basin, and that access road is coming from the abutting property 124 Grove Street, which is under the same ownership as this property. It comes up down below the wall. This is a fraction of the big retaining wall over here, and so you can't access it from up here, so you have to come from somewhere else. And so we have the access road coming around. Our work working session with Bricolage and DPW staff. We determined that the access road should extend up to this outlet in this location. That's what we did. That did necessitate some additional clearing in the buffer zone, and that's quantified and tabulated and provided submittal to everybody. Another question was, given the unique situation of this being an active detention basin that we're looking to utilize, but they're also being delineated local jurisdictional wetlands in that area, how do you protect the no disturb in the wetlands while also allowing for the regular maintenance within the basin? So what we proposed, and David and Bricolage will review it, make sure it meets their standards, but we're proposing wetland bounds along 25-foot no disturb. And that would be the delineation of maintenance. So there would be allowed a 25-foot buffer zone from the wetlands to the maintained portion of the basin. And that would just kind of be allowed to turn into a grass or whatever it wants to do. It would stay as it is currently. Another thing that we're looking to do is provide
Can I ask you a quick
buffer.
question?
Oh,
So
sure.
what's the condition of that buffer right now?
So it kind of transitions from a grassed basin into a wooded area with some like smaller trees in there.
Oh,
And there's been some standing water in that location. So it's kind of, it's already transitioning and it would kind of remain as is.
so you're not gonna do anything to it, just leave it to continue as it's been going?
That's the intent. Yeah.
Okay.
The condition it's in now, leave it as is, and that way it serves the function as it currently does.
Okay.
And then another condition that we were looking to meet is the replication or mitigation for buffer zone impacts. We're clearing a lot of buffer zone and expanding into buffer zone. And so what we proposed, and this was discussed at that working session as well, is the creation of some additional buffer zone through the shape of our replication. So originally the replication was kind of just a rectangular shape. We've thrown some spurs out, and that will create some additional buffer zone in this shaded green area, kind of offset the impact. And I believe what we landed on, since the bylaw doesn't necessarily state, it's not like wetland impact, where it's 2-to-1 replication. What we decided to do is 1-to-1 replication of the no disturb impact on the site. So this buffer zone impact area is equal to the total buffer zone disturbance in the 0 to 25 on the site. And so, this is existing undeveloped woodlands, and so by moving wetlands this way, it creates additional buffer zone to kind of offset that impact and mitigate. Anything else to mention? I guess one of the other interesting questions was the existing basin is fed by 2 forebays. There's one here and there's one here. And this forebay, we think, is kind of responsible for the creation of the basin. Sediment carried over into the detention basin over time, creating like a perched water table and cause this wetland to form. And one of Beta's questions was, how do you plan to make sure that hydrology is maintained in this basin? Originally, our basin outlet, we have a subsurface detention system under here, and we revised that infiltration. But the outlet for that was all the way over here, and we were saying, well, in lower rain events, how is that water going to get to the wetlands? Because right now, there's a forebay that feeds it and is probably responsible for the hydraulic qualities in there. So we've moved the outlet to kind of just outside 25-foot no disturb, so that it has a more direct hydrological connection to the wetlands. And so during smaller rain events, these wetlands will still see some runoff to make sure that they stay wet. I think that's the majority of the main changes. There's a lot of technical questions and quantification that was in the data response letter, and Bricolage and Beta will update you on that. But that's kind of where we stand on the plans. Ted, I know you're online. Do you have anything you want to go over?
Yeah, if I may, to the chair, good evening, and good evening to members of the commission. Ted Cannon, local counsel for the applicant. Just by way of background, we're also before the planning board for site plan approval, which we're next before them on the 28th. So we would respectfully request that the matter be continued to the commission's next meeting on April 17th fingers crossed that Gary's able to get through the comments. If he's not, we certainly understand. And if that's the case, we may seek a further continuance. But we would like to shoot for the 17th, just in case we're able to pull things together, because if we can finalize things then we would be in a position to complete things with the planning board on the 28th. Thank you.
Great. Any questions, guys? No. I'll break the line. Do you have any questions?
No,
Okay.
thank you, Michael.
I appreciate you coming
Yeah.
in with the update.
Is there anyone online or in the audience? I guess there's no one else in the audience. Is there anyone online that has any questions about this project? Okay, there be none, I'll take a motion to continue.
I'll give you a motion to continue the NOI for 124, 126 Grove Street to April 17th, 7:02 PM.
Second that.
Vote to continue.
Vote to continue.
Vote to continue.
Continue? Continue.
Continue.
Nicole?
Continue.
Continue.
Thank you. Appreciate you coming in
Great.
with the update.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Have a good evening. Appreciate it.
Too.
Thank you.
Okay, and let's move on to the third public hearing, which is the NOI for 1 Paddock Lane. I have here a note that the applicant has requested a continuance. Is there anyone here for 1 Paddock Lane? Okay. Is there anyone in the audience or online that has any comments or questions about the project? If there be none, I'll take a motion to continue.
I'll give you a motion to continue the NOI for 1 Paddock Lane to April 17th at 7:03 PM.
Second that.
Vote to continue.
Vote to continue.
Vote to continue.
Continue? Continue.
Continue.
Nicole?
Continue.
Continue. Thank you very much, guys. Okay, now I'd like to open up the fourth public hearing of the evening, which is the NOI for 7 Charles River Drive. Is there anyone here for 7 Charles River?
Yes, I am. Karen Skinner-Catroni.
Okay.
Hey, Karen.
Aye.
So we were present at the last meeting, and we had submitted the plan with one revision, just wording on it late, so the commission needed some time to review it. So
Right,
that's where we stand from the last meeting.
okay.
Thank you.
What's this?
What's being submitted?
This is the plan from the last
We already
meeting.
got it.
This is the same. one.
Yeah, okay, so we already got it.
We added
Um,
was the lot coverage, existing lot
Oh,
coverage.
the
Okay.
lot coverage, okay, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
this one's dated.
We had the proposed, but we added
We have one more over here, please.
Okay.
Sorry, one administrative comment. Tyler will need whatever's being handed out, even if it's something we've already received.
Okay.
Okay, he's got it.
And since I don't have a copy, are you all able to verify that it is the exact same thing?
It looks to me like it is.
I'm just
yeah.
looking at the
Yeah.
one you guys gave us,
I'm
so.
looking at, yeah,
Perfect.
yeah,
Thank you.
it is, yeah. Sure.
So it's just a revision of the, what's in red right now, the lot coverage
Just-
disturbance.
Yeah,
Yeah, we had the proposed on there,
Right.
the other plan, but this one, the only difference is the existing lot coverage right at the top.
Top there.
oh, yeah, yeah,
Yep,
yeah,
the
got it.
text.
I got it, yeah. Okay. Yeah, and just so, for example, existing lot coverage structure equals 8.71%, and structure and impervious 13.94%. That's the addition.
The,
Actually, it's
that's
exact.
actually, it's higher now. This one's, that's the, yeah.
So I think
So the one, I think that one might be the, what's the date on that?
same dates. This is exactly the same thing.
I have a version.
That was an older version.
What's up on the projector.
Right?
Yeah, are you getting, which one are you looking at?
You have something to do with that? This is the one he gave.
So I'm assuming Tyler put the one that I reviewed up on the screen.
I think
Is the one you have in your hand the exact same thing? Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
As
it's
that
exa-
one?
It is the same thing, yeah.
Exactly the same thing.
Perfect, okay.
Just-
Thank you.
So the one on the screen
Thank you.
is the official one.
All right,
Another one.
thank you.
We'll get in trouble.
Yeah, get rid of any others that need to go.
All right, commissioners, you can continue
Okay.
your run here.
Okay, all right.
We were supposed to review our special conditions.
I get some recommendations.
Yes.
I do
So,
too.
all right, so, recommended special, standard special conditions would be 20, installing erosion control barriers.
Mhm.
22, an as-built plan. 27, approved changes. 28, notification prior to work, and that could be done with, in writing to break a lie. 29, right to impose additional conditions. 30, errata as changes. 34, no straw bales, pretty standard on that. 44, removal of barriers as completed, and 51, building permit sign-off.
Also,
That's fine.
we got 20, erosion control is fine, but it has to be inspected and approved by a professional engineer or a licensed wetland scientist?
Okay.
No.
I go out and I expect those. That's
Oh, that was
me.
a question. I thought it was a suggestion, Rich.
No, no. I was gonna say, geez, I hope we didn't have to design, yeah, so
We
that,
usually
she
do,
answers it, that's
we
fine.
usually do that. I don't know if you're changing
Yep.
that or not, but we usually go
Well, that's
out,
fine.
Yeah,
locate it and, type up a letter.
okay. So you're accepting of those? No?
Yeah, that's fine. Everything is fine.
Okay.
Okay.
I agree with you. I thought they were good.
Roger, Michael, Nicole, any?
No questions.
Louis?
Is the stockpile maintenance, is that you're gonna be digging out to put this pool in? Do we need to add that in there? Was it typical?
So what do you, that's a
So
good,
35,
go ahead.
special condition 35, is that
It's
That'd be
46.
What is it?
stockpile
Okay, so
maintenance?
stockpile maintenance, yeah. Where is the stockpile
Yeah,
going?
so when you dig out the pool, what are you thinking?
Yeah.
The stockpile will be behind the pool between the erosion control and the patio there.
Okay.
And whatever's, most of that's gonna leave the site.
Okay,
Mhm.
Right, you're not gonna need.
I mean, they're gonna excavate the pool, take all the material not gonna need, and they're gonna leave a little bit of backfill around the pool, and that's it.
Bless you.
okay.
Right,
I guess,
fine. So they're not
just gotta,
stockpiling.
just gotta manage it, just make sure that it's placed properly.
Do you want 35 on?
I mean, adding that in shouldn't be an issue, right?
I mean,
You're
you're
gonna-
basically gonna do it anyway.
Yeah, how you explained it.
All right, so let's,
Okay.
We'll add it in there.
okay, let's add 35
Okay,
stockpile
hang on, do you
maintenance.
have the list?
Yep,
Do you know what the motion is?
yep,
Okay, before we do that,
yeah, let's,
is there anyone online or in the audience has any questions or comments about 7 Charles River Drive? Okay, I don't think the commissioners have any additional, no?
no, Nicole, anything?
No? Nicole?
I just had a real quick question. The cement wash, will there be any, I guess, what are you doing with that when you pour the pool? Is it a cement pool? Is it?
I'm sorry?
Is it a cement
What
pool?
type of pool?
Is it a cement pool?
No, it's a liner.
Liner?
Yeah.
Okay,
So metal walls, liner, sand bottom,
Okay, yeah.
typical.
okay, yeah, no, good question. Sometimes there's cement, but okay. Okay. Nicole, anything else?
No concrete wash.
No, thank you.
Okay. All
Okay,
right.
the motion?
I'll give you a motion to approve the NOI for 7 Charles River Drive with standard special conditions 20, 22, 27, 28, 29, 30, 34, 35, 44, and 51.
I second that.
Commissioners, might I interrupt?
Yes.
please.
Finding,
What?
findings.
Oh, should we read that into the record?
You gotta read each one of those?
Okay.
Whichever ones you decide that this is applicable to
Okay,
for the
so-
interests of the act.
Yeah. Okay, so.
Good catch, thank you.
You want me to do that?
Yeah.
You want-
Yeah.
Okay, so reading these findings, so, and I'm gonna just read exactly as it's worded here. Findings pursuant to the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act follow the review of the above referenced notice of intent, and based upon the information provided in this application and presented at the public hearing, this commission finds that the areas in which the work is proposed is significant to the following interests of the Wetlands Protection Act. They are as follows: public water supply, groundwater supply, storm damage prevention, prevention of pollution, protection of wildlife habitat, and flood control. And now we can vote.
Now you can take a second to the motion.
I'll do the second
Second.
to what you said and what you said,
There you
Yeah,
go.
okay.
and I'll vote to
With the findings,
approve
yeah, findings,
with
with the
findings,
finding, as stated.
as stated.
Yes. Okay. You have a second? Go.
Oh, I got a second again,
Okay.
and I vote to approve.
Approve, okay.
Vote to approve.
Vote to approve.
Approve. Approve.
Approve.
Nicole? Approve. Thank you. Ta-da.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you very much.
Have a good night.
Yeah, glad we've got it done.
Okay. All right,
Enjoy the pool.
process.
Well done.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Okay,
T-bar?
so let me open up the fifth public hearing for the evening for the ANRAD for 47 Partridge Street. And I do have a note here that there was a recommendation to continue. And there also, I think that there was a peer review that was provided on March 21st, correct? Yes?
Partridge.
So we're still,
Yep.
we're still reviewing this, still reviewing the peer review.
Yep,
Is there-
I haven't received anything from the applicant yet.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay, okay, okay. Is there anyone here for or online for 47 Partridge Street? Are there any questions or comments from anyone in the audience or online about 47 Partridge Street? Okay, there being none, I will take a motion to continue.
Give you a motion to continue the ANRAD for 47 Partridge Street to April 17th, 7:04.
I'll second that. Vote to continue.
Vote to continue.
Continue?
Continue?
Continue.
Nicole?
Continue.
Take it away. Okay.
Hathaway is a
We're
placeholder.
not doing pink.
Okay. And now we'll open up the next public hearing for the evening, which is the NOI for 151 Grove Street. I see here that there is a recommendation to continue because there was a Beta provided peer review letter on March 24th. Is there anyone here for 151 Grove Street?
That is my project, but we're looking to continue. Yeah.
Okay, good, all right, okay, okay. Is there anyone in the audience or online who have any comments or questions about 151 Grove Street? There being none?
You know, one thing that
Go
might,
ahead.
I'm sorry,
Go.
just might be worth addressing while you're here
Sure.
is, in Beta's comments, I don't know if you had a chance to look at this and you haven't, it's designed to
Yeah.
make life easier for you,
Mhm.
right? So,
Right.
you know, we get the piece that says the proposed tree line, individual tree shrubs with diameter greater than 1 inch, proposed for removal should be shown on the plans. I think you've been here, typically, we don't, actually it's 1 foot, not 1 inch, I'm sorry. It says
Yes.
1 inch, but it's not.
Mhm.
We typically will take that up to 3 feet and do a transection.
3 inch.
Right.
3 inch.
3 inch, no, it is 3 inch, not 3
Inch,
feet.
yes.
Yeah, that'd be a big
3
tree.
feet is a big tree.
That's a big, that's a
We'd
really
like
big
to
tree.
know what those are too.
So at any rate, yeah, we would look at that as look at, instead of counting every tree that has 1 inch diameter, do a transection of ones that have 3.
Sure. Is there any particular like path that you're looking to would like to see, or just kind of something kind of through the wetland area? I would assume, right?
Yeah, something representative of the whole area. And we're
Yeah,
just, we
well,
don't,
Yeah, usually, so usually what we do, so I mean, usually what we say is just take a small section and then just sort of like, survey, right? And what do you guys?
Okay.
That kind of thing, right? Not count all the trees, I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And again, what we found, I mean, going down to 1 inch, I mean, that's crazy. It'd be like every single tree.
Right.
No.
Mhm.
So we just want like the ones,
Yeah.
reasonable. So that's what we've been doing.
Sure, I'm just trying to eyeball kind of the footprint that you're looking for this to take place in.
Yes.
Is it along like a defined path, or is it just kind of like a 50
No.
by 50 box?
I
or-
think,
No, it's really, yeah, so basically it's just like 50 by 50 blocks. I mean, just,
Okay.
again, it's a survey area, survey square,
Sure.
something like that. Right, I mean, Bricolai, do you have any additional comments?
No, unless for a transect, that's actually, it's a linear sampling, so you could go through the entire buffer zone
Mhm.
and then cast from that midline. And then you could extrapolate out between 0 to 25, 25 to 15, 50 to 100. Does that
Okay.
make sense?
Yeah, and I can work with Bricolai offline to make sure we get what
Okay.
she needs.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, whatever makes sense, whatever.
Okay, that works.
yeah.
I'll pass that on.
Just while you're here.
Yeah, we just didn't, I mean, we just didn't want it to be like ridiculously or, you know.
No, I get it. Thank you.
Okay, so,
Yeah, okay, cool.
all right, so, any more?
No, I think that's enough.
My friend, there are no redwoods in Franklin.
It's a good point.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, I had that reversed. It did say it right, so it's kind of funny, but anyway.
Okay, so I will take a motion to continue.
I'll give you a motion to continue the NOI for 151 Grove Street to April 17th at 7:05.
Second that?
Okay,
Vote to continue.
Let's continue.
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 Nicole,
Continue?
thank you. Continue. Thank you very much, guys. Okay, and the next, moving on to the next public hearing, which is for 50 Constitution Boulevard. I see that we have some notes here. We are waiting for Beta to wrap up the stormwater review, right? I think. Yes?
Yeah, they submitted a letter actually earlier today
Okay,
in response to stormwater, but unfortunately, it's late past
yeah,
conservation deadline, but I haven't had a chance to review it.
right. And-
To that point, I do believe it's mainly administrative,
Okay.
so
Okay,
should be an easy lift at the next meeting.
okay, all right. Is there anyone here for 50 Constitution that wants to say anything?
Yep,
Okay,
yep, Brendan Reale from Land Design Engineers. How you doing?
good.
Good.
Do you have any additional information?
No additional information, just here, one, I understand the deadline. I have been requested though to, ask if the commission would be willing to consider, those Beta's comments were submitted after the deadline. All the comments regarding stormwater, had no further, comments, based off our response. And I know that was the primary concern of the commission, so I have been requested to ask if you'd be willing to move forward with closing out the project, even though that the response letter from Beta was received today.
Okay, and I notice here that Bricolai, it says no DEP comments. Do we expect any DEP comments or no?
No, so there is a DEP number.
A number,
There's no
yes.
comments associated with that.
Okay, understood, okay. Is there anyone in the audience or online that has any questions or comments about 50 Constitution Boulevard? Anything from the team? No? Okay, I'll take a motion to continue then.
I'll give you a motion to continue the NOI for 50 Constitution Boulevard to April 17th at 7:06 PM.
Second that?
Vote to continue.
Vote to continue.
Vote to continue.
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 Nicole?
Continue?
Continue. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Good night. See you. Okay, now we'll open up the next. Yes? No, I don't think that's correct. We have a question, Bricolai. On the notes that we have here, Mike's pointed out that 50 Constitution Boulevard says 159-1312, and then 55 Milliken Avenue that we're about to open is 159-1312. They have the same number. Is that correct?
They do. Why don't you open the public hearing and I'll correct it. Give me 1 second.
Okay, all right. So, so I'm gonna open up the next public hearing for 55 Milliken Avenue. And now,
You gotta give me just a little bit more time so I can look it up on DEP's
okay,
website.
okay. Okay, meanwhile.
50 Constitution is 1314. 55 Milliken is
1314.
1312. But
Okay,
it
okay, so-
doesn't impact the public hearing at this point,
Okay,
so
okay,
you
all
can.
right, just note for the record, 50 Constitution Boulevard is 159-1314, and 55 Milliken Avenue is 159-1312. Thank you, Mike, for
Yep.
catching that. Nice catch. Thank you. Okay, so we've opened up 55 Milliken Avenue. We have here a recommendation for continuing, and we also see here that Beta provided a peer review on March 31st. Is there anyone here for 55 Milliken Avenue?
Applicant requested a continuance later this afternoon.
Okay, all right. Is there anyone online or in the audience that has any comments or questions about 55 Milliken Avenue? There being none, I'll take a motion to continue.
Give a motion to continue the NOI for 55 Milliken Ave to April 17th at 7:07.
Second. Vote to continue.
Vote to continue.
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 Nicole?
Continue.
Continue, thank you. Okay, so that is the end of all of the public hearings for the evening. And then we move on to permit modifications, extensions. And we have here a Franklin Heights. And this is a request to amend the original special condition 52.
Didn't we discuss this already?
Yeah, preliminarily, but we still have to.
We didn't make it official.
They did not file the actual application.
Yeah, I think they want to they want to test the waters.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
And we
So
gave a.
This is what they
Yeah.
have to change if they want to.
I haven't seen it before.
Yeah, that's
We
fine.
already got
Yeah,
something.
That's right. Yeah.
Good evening, so, Dr. Wang from Creative Land and Water Engineering. I think March 6th, the applicant was here just to explain what we are seeking and just to understand, to get a consensus, what the commission would do. So I was out of the town, so if I understand, it's a positive for our proposal. So it's basically, if you're looking at it, so right now, the condition we understand, I think at that time, is trying not to silt the pond. But we all understand that sediment basin will eventually have to be cleaned before we can use it. So therefore, right now, without the connection, so the whole ground has got the water, or the runoff from the road is shed into the shoulder and saturated the side. It's
Right.
kind of make it really mucky.
Right.
And not only that, we already have like 3 times just the past 3 weeks wash out into the existing sediment stormwater basins, because the runoff cannot go into the catch basins.
Right.
The pipe is not connected.
Right.
So therefore, so we just request that the condition 52 will allow us to connect the closed system into the temporary 2 basins, but with the empty protections, the catch basins which we already put in, but right now,
Right.
since it's not working, it's
Right.
almost like useless.
Right.
So,
Right.
and we will watching out everything we need to safeguard, to make sure the pond get, as, the turbidity to be to low as much as we can. Eventually, if you're looking at here, I actually brought the drainage plan, you can see it, all the proposed condition. You can see that the whole phase 2 is going to basin 1, and then the whole, actually, basin 1 goes to basin 2, and then basin 1 overflows to basin 2, and then overflows. So with all that connection, so the whole
Right.
thing is just, not
Right.
functioning.
Right.
So that's the only request, so
Right.
to allow us to get that connected, but we will clean it out at the end of it. And so before we stabilize and seeding the slope, to make sure so the basins are function as designed.
Right.
So you want to use the existing drainage system that you're putting in to use to drain
convey the
into your
water.
sedimentations? You're going to put silt sacks and whatever in,
That's correct.
in there to clean them out, and then clean them out religiously
Right,
as you're working,
Right.
right?
before
All right.
finalizing.
Yeah, I think when,
We talked about
Bruce
it.
Wheeler, principal of Oliver Crossing, I think the concern when we were doing the order of conditions was that we were gonna end up with a lot of silt in the ponds, but we're gonna remove that, we're gonna remove all the silt out of the ponds
Yeah.
before we're done.
Yeah.
So I think for a period, we would rather have it in the ponds and then us remove it from the ponds than, than everywhere else.
That's the amendment, yes, agreed.
I think that,
At least it's manageable this way.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's
It's
like.
better.
No, I know, yeah.
We have a pretty hard time right now.
You can exhibit some control over it.
Exactly, right, and we agreed.
It's a
that
good
made
idea.
sense. Yeah, we made that, we agreed, that was a good idea, right?
So it's there.
As far as I know, everybody agreed.
And if you get some silt in the pipe, you can always power wash them out of there.
We're cleaning everything out,
Yeah.
before we leave, before we're out of there, and we turn everything over to the community, everything's gonna be
Yeah.
cleaned out, like it's new, so.
Okay, let me read into the record what you guys have proposed, just so it's, right, okay, so. The original condition, number 52, was, the stormwater basin construction in phase 2 shall be limited to the construction of temporary sediment basins, final grading and stabilization of the basins, as well as their connection to the closed drainage system, shall be conducted at the end of phase 3. The proposed amendment is as follows. The stormwater basins construction in phase 2 will function as a temporary sediment basins. The road drainage system can be connected to the temporary basins when catch basins are protected with silt sacks or additional erosion control measures as required per field conditions. Final grading and stabilization of the basins shall be conducted at the end of phase 3 with proper cleaning of the basins of settled silt and sediment, right? And that's exactly what we said, we thought made sense, right? And Brinkley, you're fine with this? That's, as far as I can tell, it's what,
I have no comment. Nope, it's fine.
okay. And commissioners? Okay, good? Okay, so then let's take a vote to accept the proposed amendment of condition 52 to the Franklin Heights project.
I vote to accept.
Okay, a motion?
Oh,
A motion to
I'll
vote.
give you a motion to accept the conditions
Thank you.
as stated.
Thank you. As, the amendment as stated.
The amendment as stated.
Okay,
Second that?
okay,
And I vote to
accept,
accept.
Vote to accept.
Vote to accept.
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 Nicole?
Accept.
Okay, thank you very much,
Thank you so
guys.
much.
And thanks for coming.
Thank
to
you all.
explain to
Yeah.
us. Thank
Yep.
you.
Please be here.
Thank you. Okay,
It's raining, so.
yeah.
I was due to time it where I got here not too late and not too early.
No, you're
but
good.
right-
You're perfect.
So,
That's
3
impressive.
tries here, we
Impressive.
nailed it this time.
It's impressive. Like, I mean, like, wow. Okay, yeah, yeah. Whatever you've got, you should pass it around. Okay, so next on the list is we have, a certificate of compliance for 74 South Street. And I think this is a revised plan for current limit of disturbance. Is there anyone here for 74 South Street?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Ooh. So, it says here in our notes that, there's originally a limit of the disturbance, and the current disturbance is roughly about 1,600 square foot more than permitted. It's a gravel driveway. So the question is what to do about the gravel driveway?
It's around it's not the actual driveway. The driveway was permitted.
Okay, okay.
Just around the foundation.
The foundation, okay, all right.
Around the barn and then
Yeah,
a little jut, to get to the, stormwater basin that they have.
Okay, okay. Does the applicant just want to describe in a little more detail, what was done in addition to what was the limit of?
Can I share my screen?
Sure, sure.
Okay. Okay. Can you see that?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, we can.
Okay, so this is the barn that was built, and this gravel was installed around, it just kind of connects to the gravel driveway, but kind of wraps around, and this is the outfall, the infiltration basin there. That was approved, by the way. The gravel, I guess, was more of a stabilization around the foundation of the barn. And yes, it is within the 50 to 100. I mean, this whole area was, with the exception of some trees, was cleared to install the barn.
Right. So basically what they're trying to do is they're trying to minimize erosion away from the barn itself by putting the gravel there, particularly when there's like rain runoff and things like that. That's my guess, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I drove by there today.
Did you? Okay.
And looked at it. It's a very neatly, nicely placed gravel driveway
Okay.
around there. It's it's wide enough for
One
something
person?
to drive up there, but
Oh, okay.
it's nice, neat, it's very well done.
Okay.
It's not helter-skelter, and
All right. So you believe?
I wouldn't think that, I
It's
came
de
away
minimis.
saying, why would I make them move that?
Yeah, that's pretty dumb, because I mean, think about it. What you're gonna do if you make them move that is you're gonna
Yeah.
cause even more
You're gonna-
erosion and stuff and.
Create a
Right.
major headache in
That's
terms
dumb.
of
Yeah.
going back in.
Yeah, I agree, but if you guys.
And they zeroed they didn't, right between some trees and stuff,
Okay.
and it was very well done.
Okay. Nicole, you guys, everyone else, I mean, unless you guys really have a super objection, I mean, I'm inclined to agree with Richard. I mean, to let it go.
Yeah.
You guys, Nicole, are you all right with that?
I agree with that. I think the only add-on is just would have been nice to be given a heads up.
Yeah, just,
ahead
yeah,
of
yeah.
time instead of now.
Well, I mean.
Totally makes sense and makes no sense to go rip it out.
No,
I mean, but,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, just,
Give us a whistle next time.
yeah.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, just, that's all we ask, just please. So, okay, so let's say that, okay, so we basically need a vote to approve this new 1,600 square foot impact as part of the completed project at 74 South Street.
I'll give you a motion to approve the COC with revised plans reflecting the current limit of disturbance, which is approximately 1,600 additional square feet of gravel driveway relative to what was originally permitted.
I'll second that,
Okay,
and I'll vote to approve that.
Vote to approve.
Vote to approve.
approve? Approve.
Approve.
Nicole?
Approve?
Approved. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys, thank you. Okay, see,
Guess
we're a
what we get
reasonable
to do.
bunch. We're reasonable?
Yes.
I'm just saying, okay. All right. Okay. All right, so now we go on to violations and enforcement. This is Richard's favorite topic, by the way. He lives for this.
I do. Has
And-
it been 2 years?
Maybe more, maybe more.
I mean, he just waits, he waits. Okay.
Why are we doing this?
305
We can talk
Union
about it
Street.
now.
Yeah, 305 Union Street. So, Rick the lie, it's a good question. Why are we doing this?
If the commissioners recall, okay, no, I'm being serious here. We had discussed this. The property was sold. The new property owner has submitted a non-traditional work plan to the state. It's currently under review. So the commission needs to allow sufficient time for DEP to be able to review that non-traditional work plan.
And we have an expectation that they will review that sometime in the,
Millennium.
all right.
Well, I mean, this has only happened in like the past 2 to 3 months.
Okay.
So the property was being sold, if you recall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The previous owner wasn't willing to do cleanup.
No.
So then you had to find someone to buy it with the violations and with the way that it's zoned. There's a whole other zoning concern with that district. That's another board's issue. So now you have somebody that, a developer that came in, bought it, is paying that money to have the non-traditional work plan, and then also is working with the Department of Community Planning and Community Development to source grants for revitalization. So there's a lot of moving parts, but all the same, I would just request a continuance for DEP to be able to review this new non-traditional work plan.
Okay.
All right. I'll give you, is this a motion?
A motion to.
I'll give you a motion to extend the violations and enforcement for 305 Union Street for another 30 days.
Second that.
Okay.
And I vote to extend it. Vote to approve. Whatever.
Extend. Do it, extend.
Extend.
Extend, yes?
Extend.
I vote to extend.
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 Nicole?
Extend?
Extended. Thank you, guys. Okay, on the, so on the list, we have 2 minutes, but actually one of them we did not get in on time, so it's just the March 6 minutes. I reviewed it, I didn't see any changes. Are there any changes that anybody else wants to make to the minutes, March 6?
I'd like to, on the NOI at page 50, on page 2, 55 Constitution Boulevard, third paragraph down, there was a motion made by Nicole Giamatti to close the NOI, and it was seconded by Richard Trahan. It should be Roger.
Oh,
Okay.
thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Are you guys melding? You guys are
Yes.
melding.
We're melting.
Melding, okay. All right. Any other changes? No? Okay, so I will take a motion to accept the minutes from March 6th with the aforementioned change.
I'll give you a motion to accept the minutes from March 6th with the aforementioned change that Roger Trahan proposed.
I second that.
All right.
Okay.
And I'll vote to approve it.
Vote to approve.
Vote to approve.
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 Nicole?
Approve?
Approve. Great. Okay, now that's it. All the voting is done. And now we have discussion items, and the first one is Concom training. Take it away, Rika Live.
Thanks. You did really well designing your own conditions. It was an easy one. It was a residential pool project, so I
You gave us
thought
a
that
layup.
was,
Thank you.
Yeah, the layup, yeah.
you're welcome.
That's right.
It was good. Doing really well. You guys are killing it.
Yeah.
All right.
It's true.
Sorry, okay.
It's true, but we're getting into the hard stuff. So with that, I did write down, I wanted to note, based on Louis' addition with 35 45 stockpile maintenance,
Yeah.
redundancy is enforceable. I want you to know that.
What's
So
enforceable?
redundancy.
Okay, okay.
So if your order of conditions allows something to be enforceable. So there is something to say, someone included stockpile maintenance in the permit already, it's shown on the plans. And in certain cases, you know, that's okay, we have leeway, but generally, wrap it into the conditions if you can,
Okay.
because it allows things to be enforceable.
Okay.
So even though it's redundant, you know, the applicant may say, I'm going to do X, Y, Z. Well, great, condition it.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it was good, Paul.
So that's something-
Put it in writing, basically.
They're gonna pile that dirt up for at
Make
least
it-
a little bit, so
Yeah, okay.
why not?
Depends on when they're.
Soil, Mark,
Now.
soil,
Soil.
soil. All right. So on the note of conditions, I actually don't have much on that front, only to remind the commission on a few things. So before I continue scrolling on that, I want to remind the commission that general process for my leave for conditions is you talk about it at meeting 1, close the hearing, right? And then Tyler is going to draft the conditions as you've stated them, and look at the recording, draft them. Beta will QA QC. Mark, Jeff, you can QA QC so you can make sure it all makes sense and is based on your memory. And then at meeting number 2, you vote to approve the project with the conditions.
Okay.
So very important that you explain that as well to applicants.
So, yeah, in that circumstance, we wouldn't have closed tonight. We would have put that in the record written up. Got it. Okay, good.
Correct. So I wanted to bring up a previous project. This is public information. It is an ongoing project, so it is fine to talk about, but it's not currently in front of you. It's already a filed order of conditions, no appeal. So our favorite project, if you can see up at the top there. So I wanted to also let the commission know that for larger projects, you can have additional special conditions. This is where creativity comes into play. This is also generally where Beta and I come into play. Beta does recommend certain special conditions in their letters. I also draft additional special conditions to include in this narrative. So I have to keep moving my stuff. So for 121 Grove Street, you have 11 additional special conditions on top of that checklist. So some of the things are, frequency of inspections, for example, SWIPs. Again, SWIPs, that's something that's redundant. They're going to have to do that anyways, otherwise they being the applicant, they're not compliant with EPA, but we still want to make sure that it's in the special condition. So if we don't receive the SWIP, it's enforceable. If you recall, those of you that were on the commission, you discussed in length about light earth moving equipment, similar with blasting, right? So ledge removal via mechanical means such as home ramming, line drilling with home ramming, or microblasting. And then, which is all well and good, that's worked through with Gary James, our Beta stormwater engineer. And then if the commission recalls, the creative conditions, as I'm going to call them now, would be signage, right? So Beta will not recommend anything that cannot be verified based on stormwater best practices or best practices with the Wetlands Protection Act. It really is to your benefit to have those creative conditions. That is where your best influence lies. So signage, we had examples and proposed locations of signage around replication areas and native buffer zones to refrain or limit maintenance disturbance to these areas in perpetuity. Important when phrasing conditions that if there's a deliverable, it has to be submitted to my office and to the commission. Submitted, receive approval, and it has to be prior to start of work, start of construction, end of construction, prior to installation, something of that nature. If you don't have that sentence in there, then they can say, well, we didn't know we had to submit it. Right?
What's the deliverable?
Submit it to whom?
You said submit the deliverable. Did I hear that right?
Correct. If the condition has a deliverable that needs to be submitted, in this case, examples and proposed locations of signage, that is the deliverable, you need to say to who and by when and what is the ultimate goal. So they need to submit to, at this juncture, at this time when this was drafted, the conservation agent and or commission. They have to receive approval, so not just submit it, but also receive approval prior to any installation. So they can't just submit the locations and then go install it. That's not good enough. It has to be approved. And the type of sign has to be approved.
But we're using an example signage, so we'll know when we're making these conditions that we want signage up, and there's going to be some definition of what the sign should be that they need to submit to us.
Yep, so it gets worked through once they submit it at that point. Yep. So there will be a dialogue, you know, they're not even at this point yet. They haven't even scheduled a sidewalk for erosion controls. But let's say that they submit example signage and proposed locations, then generally it would come to me. I would do administrative approval unless the commission conditions otherwise. I would look at the signs. I would say, hey, it really should say this. Hey, it should really say that. Can you say this? Can you say that? We'd have a dialogue. Then they'd get the approval. If the example signage that they've provided does not merit approval, they don't get approval, therefore they can't install. Based on how this is worded. So, similarly, if you recall, due to the nature of the applicant and the site and unease of the project, condition number 63 was drafted. This is another creative condition. And that if the property was sold prior to the completion of replication areas and or certificate of compliance, the applicant, in this case Fairfield, shall notify the conservation agent and or commission between 14 and 30 calendar days prior to sale closure to schedule a technical review with the buyer and conservation agent and or commission to ensure compliance with this order and successful completion of the replication areas. So what this condition is assuring is that no matter what, Fairfield Residential can't just walk away from the replication areas, and the person who buys the property can feign ignorance that they didn't know they had to complete replication areas.
So it's got to be part of the deal.
Correct.
Makes sense.
And this is recorded at the registry now.
Right.
So this is in effect. So those are just two really strong examples, good examples of things that have come up during the public hearing process that, again, Beta can't speak to, the commission can, and generally I can. I am given a lot of allowances. So these are things that I draft. So things to look out for, you know. Okay. So on conditions, I'm going to stop sharing so I can see you guys if you have questions. Does anybody have any questions on conditions? We can run through other approved projects that are already validated in the registry if any of you want to look at them and their conditions, or you could give me hypotheticals.
I question, just for your own records, do you anywhere keep a ongoing list of special conditions that have been written or submitted over time?
No.
Okay.
I mean, it's per project. They generally change per project.
But as an example, you know, I mean, if there was such a thing.
Or even, you know, I know the grocery one you went through is in the Google Drive.
Mm-hmm.
Rather, if you want to give us a heads up, maybe where that one is, so we could go grab that, and it sounded like you had other ones. And
121?
Yeah.
So you can go through any of the old folders. So
I-
121 was approved June 17th, 2024.
That's
But
what-
any project, just go back through there and I have the draft conditions in there.
No, I get it, but those are, that seemed like a useful one. It's just good to know which
Sure.
folder it was in, that's all. So
Sure.
6/17/24.
Yep, 6/17/2024.
Yep, perfect.
Sorry.
No, go ahead, Nicole.
We can search the Google Drive and put in keywords, and then it will pull up a document, and then it's easier for searching, correct?
Yep, exactly. So you can do it that way. And then Jeff, to your knowledge, or to continue on with your question, language is very similar, as I'm sure you've already picked up on, especially with the submission, right? And conservation agent and or commission. So that language is pretty current. But unfortunately, no, because each project is so unique, especially with scope of work, there's no template for those written conditions. It's just a way of writing, or technical writing really is all that it is. I'm also certain that MAC in their resource library, they probably have some information on drafting conditions too.
I know that's true.
And every town has it differently. This is how I draft conditions. They may do it differently. I can tell you that Medway drafts conditions like this because I worked in Medway under Bridget, their conservation agent, and she's a very tough cookie. So searching, that's a good idea. June 17th, 2024 for 121 Grove, but you can just go through. And to be honest, I would be hard pressed, and read through the lines here. I would be hard pressed if you got to an order of conditions for a project like 121 Grove Street before I'm back from leave.
Yeah.
But to your point, yes, good to reference. I'm picking it up now. Okay, any other condition questions? Okay, and it is for the whole commission. I do hope all of you take your notes and ask questions, and like, for example, Nicole, for pool projects, if they are dewatering or backwatering, you would draft a condition, something to the effect that it has to be, away from the wetland. You would make that enforceable. Okay, so those are conditions. Order of conditions. So this, I am speaking to the commission and also Tyler. When we get order of conditions, most projects, I will mention, don't come into me cold, meaning that I know something is coming down the line. There's only been 2 projects in 3 years that have come in without my knowledge, which all have funny backstories to them. So I digress on that front. But for order of conditions, people just come in and they just drop them off. I will note, as I'm in my leave, standard practice for order of conditions, actually look at the conditions that were approved. Similar to earlier tonight or in past, we find things that don't actually match up, and to keep the record straight, we want to make sure that we address any of those discrepancies. So to Tyler, this during my leave, if you don't mind, when you get an order of conditions, if you could find that original condition and also upload it into the Google Drive for the commission to review, that would be lovely. Thank you. And then something big to look out for with conditions is that if there is restoration, or if there's a condition in there, like, for example, 121 Grove Street. Here we go. Okay. Special condition 60. This is actually straight out of the Wetlands Protection Act. So again, something that they should already be adhering to. But to make sure that they know all this information and it's front and center and it's in every contractor's truck with the order of conditions, I brought it out here. And it's also very easy to reference for any future commissioner, staff member, whomever. It's right here. They can come in, look at the conditions. So this special condition 60 is all parameters for replication. And you will see that 60.6 states that at least 75% of that area shall be reestablished with indigenous wetland plant species within 2 growing seasons. So oftentimes when we get requests for COCs, and people have replication, you won't see 75%, and it won't be within 2 or after 2 growing seasons. Replication areas need 2 growing seasons to be considered successful. So that is something to look at when you are reviewing requests for COCs. If the commission remembers, we've had residents come in and say, I bought my house, the guy left, the developer left, there's a replication area, what can I do? And while we can sympathize, with the current homeowner, unfortunately, your purview, my responsibility is, and as is yours, is to make sure that those replication areas are successful.
Right.
So it's gut-wrenching as it is.
I think we had one where, I think it was, we reduced it to like a year, but also it's dependent on like how the drought is, or, we also will look into that. I saw here, you cited 60.6. So for that right there, like our standard order of conditions, it goes up to 51, and then after 51, this is what you generate on top of it. This isn't part of the standard list. This is what other things you've talked about and
yep.
And special.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Yep, because any order of conditions, when it's generated on EDP or through Mass DEP, they have their own conditions that automatically get built into it, which is why these are considered special. The list up until 51, you'd have to ask Chair Livingstone. I don't know when that was conceived. That came with the gig. That is a list that the previous commissioners have designed based on bylaw. So put that in the back of your brain for us to talk about at a later date once bylaw is finessed. And then you have, 52 and after. I will note that most applicants, so this standard special condition page is on the webpage. It is public information. Most of them see it ahead of time, which is why you've heard me, especially if they're repeat offenders in council chambers. But that's why I'm a little bit more carefree about reading the numbers. But as soon as I get to 52, I read it word for word. Any other questions? I just see myself talking, so.
That was good.
So this, going back to what you were saying, like just to organize this, you're looking to get like a checklist for, just to kind of ensure that going down the line they're following through with what was discussed, to get this, to ensure that, just to organize it, or is this fine? I mean, do we have to do any rework with this?
With the standard specials?
Yeah, once they start doing, they're going through the construction, and then, just like you were speaking with the signs, there's, just making sure that they have all that. So, I'm just looking to see if there was anything else in addition to this that we needed to like
look out for.
Yeah.
No, SWIPs. We see SWIPs enough. That's always nobody. And to be fair, I understand SWIPs are so far after Conservation Commission that oftentimes applicants don't, include them in their permit narrative. But then it's always called out that they need to get a SWIP. And I will say I actually haven't had an applicant not provide a SWIP. But still good to include. if there is replication area, those parameters. So again, Mark, to your point, yep, looking at 121 Grove Street is a good example. I mentioned pools. Trying to think. That's really it. Otherwise, everything is variable.
It seems to me that these additional special conditions, other than the ones that we already have pre-published, will kind of generate themselves based on the conversation we have during the approval process. Like 121 Grove Street was a long and strung out process, and there was a lot of things discussed. So many of those things that we discuss might be a special condition in the final analysis, since we want to make sure that they understand what we were talking about.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep, exactly.
So they kind of, it kind of generates itself in some respects if we get the bigger and more complicated the process is.
Yep. That's exactly right.
Okay.
Which is what makes them variable, because you just never know what you're going to get. And then I will say, just going back again, Beta will recommend conditions at times. I will note that sometimes I don't include them. I find them, or I shouldn't say that. If it's stormwater, I don't touch stormwater. That's Gary James's wheelhouse. If it's something that John and I have a slight difference of opinion, generally we're always on the same side, I will either finesse wording or not include it, but I'll combine it with another condition, if that makes sense. Especially if I have one already formulated in my brain, I'll combine it. So looking at those reviews, you can see where Beta will say defer to the commission. You know, the commission may include a special condition. Beta will never recommend that the commission do anything. They can't do that.
Well, they're going to bring up statements in their explanation of what they did, just reviewed here. Perhaps they should do this, or perhaps they should do this, that this should occur. And you can take your hint from those and say, should we reiterate those in the process, or maybe it's already covered. So that'd be
exactly.
We have to make our. Okay, good with that.
All right. Any other questions on conditions, certificates of compliance? Okay.
That was helpful.
So then I did just want to give you a rundown quick on GIS. Shouldn't have worn a sweater with all my hair. Heat that's right above me too. Okay, so I'm sure, let me do this. Okay, I'm sure all of you have looked at our town website for GIS. If you're nodding, I can't see you, but I'm just gonna believe you have. So I'm only gonna work on the layers that you can see as everyday residents. Why this is important, when drafting conditions, again, you can review what resources are there. Obviously, you have plans. Please use the plans. That's the most accurate survey data. But sometimes this is nice just to pop into. More so than not, it's also really nice to look at for orders of conditions, to look what resources are online. Or if you are going out to any site, let's say not so much a project site, so much as, you know, someone called on their neighbor and you all want to go out and check on what is going on with the neighbor dispute. You can look and do a desktop review before you go out, just to get a general idea of what you expect to find. I will note that 7 times out of 10, even 6 times out of 10, this is wrong. Not everything we read on the internet is true. That is the lesson. That is the lesson for today.
Okay.
So take that with a grain of salt, okay? And some of this is open to interpretation. I don't expect perfection. I'm merely giving this as a tool to you. I will note that you still have Beta. Beta is going to be reviewing any MBZA, any residential call. They're going to be really, truly your technical boots on the ground. This is just to give you more autonomy and the resources to better make decisions. More well-informed decisions, I should say. So I pulled up Delcart. This is Delcart. We know it's wet. On the left-hand side here, you'll have your layers. What I pull up is the state data. This is right from the Mass GIS database. I click on, personally, first, DEP wetlands, FEMA flood map, which our FEMA flood map is typically our BLSF. It excludes ILSF. So fun fact, FEMA, national, right? That is what insurance is based off of. That is the emergency response, but this is the floodplain, national floodplain, but Mass and the Commonwealth and Power to the People decided that they were going to make their own. So that's where you get bordering land subject to flooding, which mirrors FEMA, but then you also have isolated land subject to flooding, which is any IBW that's over 5,000 square feet. But yet they don't protect IBWs less than that. Semantics, bureaucracy, we can go march on Beacon Hill if you would like. So anyways, this is FEMA flood map. NHESP data, National Heritage Endangered Species Program data. These are your TNE species, the habitats, and your vernal pools. Please note that habitats are not automatically clicked on. So you will not see overlay for endangered species without clicking that on. We're building here. Open space, not as important to you. I sometimes use it to see if, for example, there's residential encroachment onto town property. Outstanding resource waters. This not applicable to Franklin, but also important for you to know. Outstanding resource waters, they are a jurisdictional resource under the Wetlands Protection Act. All right, we're gonna take a pause here. There's one other one that I look at that is not on our GIS. Unfortunately, not very well. Does anybody know what resource I'm missing? So we have wetlands, we have floodplain. What other type of wet resource area? Oh, we have vernal pools.
Riverfront?
We have habitat.
Riverfront?
Bingo.
Oh, missing.
Yep. Oh, don't want that. This is in the way. How do I hide this? Hide that. Okay, perfect. Yes, riverfront, and then subsequently bank, right? Bank is the water is not the resource. The soil's the resource. So you have land underwater and bank. So yeah, I go to Mass Mapper. Mass Mapper has all of these layers in it, other than Franklin open space, although it might actually be listed under like a chapter layer. So I pull up USGS topo map. If you read the regs, the Wetland Protection Act regs, sorry, there is a detailed list of how to determine if a stream, a river, is perennial or intermittent. And the first check on that is to look at the most recent USGS topo map. So this is Miller Brook. You see how this is a nice dark blue? If you're nodding, I can't see you.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. So it's dark blue for a while. We'll go up here actually. And then You see how this is a finer line of blue?
Yeah.
All right, so the more weighted blue, perennial. Finer line, intermittent. That is what I would expect at least you to know when map reading. I don't expect you to know, the second step, third step, fourth step, which is looking at stream stats data and then doing hydraulic studies. So, intermittent, perennial. So, going back and looking at Delcart, which I scrolled away from here. Right here. We see that Delcart has a perennial stream that runs through it, which we know, right? It's named Miller Brook. We can see that it has floodplain, which is this X actually. It's in a poor spot for placement. It moved. There it is, right there. X floodplain, which is 0.02% chance, 100-year storm. We have our wetlands, which are these polygons, right? And then from this, what you don't see, what jurisdictional resource do you not see? It's regulated under the Wetlands Protection Act, but it's jurisdictional in Franklin. Mark, you said one, which was riverfront area. What's the other one? What zone to wetland?
Vernal pools?
The buffer zone?
Buffers.
Oh.
Buffer zone. Buffer zone and riverfront area, I mean, it's the cast area from the actual resource.
Got it.
So you don't see the 100-foot buffer zone, correct, to Richard? We have buffer zones to vernal pools. Wetlands Protection Act does not. We also have buffer zone to floodplain. Wetlands Protection Act does not. So what you can infer from this is that generally all of Delcart is jurisdictional.
Okay.
What you'll notice here is this finger.
Quick question.
Drainage, likely, because it's not shown on the USGS, not even shown as an intermittent stream. Does not mean it's not an intermittent stream. This is where some of the inference comes in looking at resource areas. Intermittent streams, 100-foot buffer zone. That is local. Wetlands Protection Act does not put a buffer zone to intermittent streams.
Got it.
There's a street drain right there at the beginning of that.
Bingo bango. Let's see. Tyler, do you remember about 2 weeks ago we got a phone call? I think it was a records request, and there was a drainage ditch, and I'm putting quotations around that, like to the northwest of it. Do you remember what that address was?
2 weeks ago.
If not, I'm just going to scroll. So I want to show you something that I commonly see that may be confused as not a resource, but I would never, ever, ever believe that it's not. Because again, not everything we see on the internet is true. That's not what I wanted. Put this back, fine. Sorry, bear with me, guys. It's not that either. Okay, well, so you don't have to just see me scrolling in perpetuity. Oftentimes what you will find when looking at these maps, especially in these higher density downtown sort of areas, is you will see a thin blue line and you will see a Z through them. That's a stormwater feature, but I would never tell you that those stormwater features are not intermittent streams until you go out and look at them. Because they generally, likely, 9.5 times out of 10 are jurisdictional under the local bylaw. Similarly, like this little guy, that's a basin. That is likely a stormwater basin. But if this person called and said they wanted to do something on their property, and I was reviewing this, I would definitely say, well, I need to come out and take a look.
Yeah.
And I would do just a basic desktop review and say, all right, well, from this polygon, if this polygon is accurate, which again, give or take 5 feet, maybe if they're doing something over here, they're out of buffer. Maybe not. Still go and look. And this will help in your independent review of projects as well. I also want to note, I cannot find this, what I was talking about at all. I'm gonna spend time tomorrow morning and I'm gonna find you the line that I've been talking about. Okay. Something else to consider is your base maps. It has been said that I fly drones over people's properties. I am a licensed drone pilot, passed the FAA test, but I don't fly drones. We have Big Brother is frequent here. So in the local portion of base map, so again, this is on the right side, base map, local, we have really nice, crisp, clear imagery. So we can look at development.
Yeah, so it's on the local.
So let's go back here. Let's look right here. This is where you guys are sitting.
Just
This big Y. And this is whatever this was before my time. But you guys will remember. Here you go. So this is the shed, clothing shop, Taj, Starbucks. Clear image. So this is how, for example, if there was enforcement during my leave, and you need to go back in time and look to see when a shed actually was put up or when trees were removed, you can do so. And you can pinpoint it pretty accurately. For the record, this comes from Nearmap and MassGIS, or the latest one is from Nearmap. We have an account through the town with Nearmap, and that flies about 3 times a year. So while what's publicly available to residents is the latest one, I can go back and pinpoint it much closer than 2019 to 2021. I can get exact months and dates.
So,
which is what I did with 305 Union Street. I was able to tell exactly when they filled the well, give or take 2 months. Okay, so that's what I have with GIS. I hid my bar, so I don't know how to stop sharing so I can see your faces. But are there any questions?
so I found out that
Thank you.
the on the image, the local images, like the 2003, 2020, 2023 and below, like because the foliage is, they take the aerials when the foliage is, there's nothing, so you can get a better, clear
Yes.
of representation of what's what's below that, the tree line.
So he's the official GIS maps, obviously because you have layers, it's very nice, obviously. But if you're just trying to look at a specific piece of land under different conditions, under different seasons, at very high resolution, you can try Google Earth or Bing Maps. And they have a real, I mean, they're pretty amazing satellite images. It's pretty amazing. Now, again, you don't have the layers, but what you can do, and this is something I've done in the past, is you have the GIS in one frame, one window, and then you have like the Bing Maps in another.
Yeah.
And so it's helpful, like.
To compare.
Yeah, because then you can actually move the timeline between months, and you can get rid of the hologram.
Yeah.
And then you want the structures, which is really nice.
Even like Google Earth you can go back in time.
Yeah,
Which is
which
pretty
is really
neat.
nice.
You
Yeah.
can see
Which
what-
we used to do, actually, when people, this was always, blah, blah, blah. We actually would go back and Google Maps and actually see, oh, yeah, right, 15 years ago, it was just a mess.
Yeah. One thing, I just recollect on the, that layer, the ESRI on the top tab, they have, on the very bottom, they have a USA topo maps, but you pulled up the website from the GIS. Is that the same thing? It looks similar when you pulled it up. I pulled it up on the Access GIS from Franklin, and I just wanted to see if that's like if I'm
So-
just kind of like if I can just go directly to the town's
Yep.
website and do that. If it's the same information, if not, then
It's not
okay. Thanks.
necessarily. So it's not, here, I'll show you. One moment. Let me just pull this up. Thank you, Tyler, for saving me with sharing my screen. It's pretty good. Okay, good. My bar's back at the top now. So this is the Esri one, US Topo. You don't have those weighted blue lines. So something to consider.
Didn't the state put out like a GIS handbook, like a little handbook, which was basically goes through different abbreviations and things like that, of that nature? It wasn't specifically, this is years ago. It wasn't based upon the specific software they were using. It was just based in how to read GIS maps in general. It was like a little handbook, like 10, 12 pages. We found it really helpful. I don't think we ever got a digital copy of it, but it was like something that they had. I didn't know if something like that still existed, or we could upload.
Was it from the town?
No, it was from the state. It was like a primer on using GIS, and it was made, as I recall, it was years ago. It was made for like the general Joe, person who wanted to use some sort of GIS service or look at GIS maps, not necessarily digital, but it was the common abbreviations and acronyms that were commonly used in GIS so that people could make out what they were looking at when they looked at different layers. So, it was like a little handbook thing. It was really nice. I have no idea where it went. It even might still be in the office someplace, so, amongst all the stuff.
No.
No? Okay.
No, when we
Okay.
went through the remodel,
Oh.
yeah,
Okay.
I looked through everything. I mean, I'm perusing their website now, and I'm not seeing anything, but, I can reach out to this.
I think I picked it up at a MAC conference, actually. I think
It sounds like a math thing.
Yeah, it was on one of the tables, I think, okay.
So is that nothing that shows buffer zones then, huh?
Not for public information, no.
Oh.
And I've actually, that's kind of my request, only because, my concern is that someone's gonna look at that and take it as gospel.
Yep.
There's also only so much that we can put out, to residents as far as like, files, size. And then additionally, this is where I wish I would have found that other line that I was talking about with the Z's in it. that mean drainage ditch, is because there are no buffer zones mapped from there, even on our internal layer for buffer zone.
So the only way to ever get at that is to go out and delineate it, put it on
Correct.
the plan. Yeah,
Yep.
Okay. Oh, I just have a question. When you, is it customary to, when you have flags, you don't specifically denote like longitude, latitude of a specific flag, right? Correct?
Of flags?
Yeah.
Yes, you do.
You do?
So
So
it
each-
depends, yeah.
Okay.
So like myself, I've, when I consulted, I've done it 2 different ways. I have my own Trimble and R1 unit.
Okay.
So I'm able to take points as I flag, and then I have ArcMap, and I can upload them and
Well, see,
create
that's-
the map that you
that's where I was
see.
going- Yeah, there's what I was going. Have you had the data?
Or
Yeah.
you get survey crews behind you.
Okay.
So yes, each
Yeah.
one should have a location.
Okay.
Um,
Right.
sorry, I went to Mac to see if they had the GIS, but I mean, it's almost the weekend, guys. This is what you want to do, I'm sure, all weekend.
Yep.
Can't wait.
Yep.
You sound enthusiastic.
Well, I look at this frequently. I used to look at this.
Okay. Any other questions on GIS? And again, as questions come up, I know it's a lot of information. You can email me. That's fine. Just make sure you email for sure Jeff or CC Mark LePage, just so they know what's going on. And I think it's important to know where there may be respectfully knowledge gaps for my leave, so you know where you can pull strength together. If that makes sense. I don't know if I said that right, but you know what I mean. Okay, so then moving on
Wait,
to.
we had a question.
Oh.
Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
How do we get to that GIS site? Like, I went to the conservation site, and the GIS looks different from what you were showing.
Yep, so it's not on our conservation website. You actually want to go to the GIS department.
So the way I found it easily is like if you, on Google, type in.
You can Google it too.
Massachusetts property
Yep.
property viewer, and it would be, I think, one of the, click on the first 3 links, I think it's the second link, but it should.
Second
pop
link.
up with that map interface.
Okay, thanks.
If it
So
clicks
you
on
can-
something else, it's, we have different GIS's, maps out there, but the one you want to be is on the property map viewer.
Okay.
Yep. So if you just Google Franklin GIS tools and map library, and then you can pin it or bookmark it, then online access GIS assessors database.
Oh, that's the one I went to. It looks different. Like, I couldn't get all the Franklin layers that you showed on the right, and even the layers on the left look a lot different.
It might be different on mobile.
Yeah, that's probably it. Thank you.
Does
Yep.
DEP have its own GIS system that they use as like a reference?
So that's Mass Mapper.
Mass Mapper, right.
To be honest, I go to Mass Mapper,
Okay.
unless I'm looking up property information.
Okay.
And then, I mean, more time than, and bandwidth and brain power than I'm sure you guys want. But then there's also the web soil survey. So this is where I go to look up soils. And then because I'm not from here, I also do the National Wetland Inventory Map, because I want to see if there's differences between what, where is it? Differences between what Mass maps and then what the contiguous United States maps. This one will also tell you wetland type a little bit better than not. So you could look up Delcart again, that's fine.
Can you send us links to these? ahead of time.
Yep,
Thanks.
sure
Yeah,
can.
that'd be helpful, thank you. That's nice.
Yeah, this one, I like this one a lot better.
That's nice.
John actually side comment makes fun of me because he says he can tell that I wasn't trained in Massachusetts because I reference wetlands by these acronyms.
That's funny,
Yeah.
that's funny.
Yeah.
Wow.
He says that he can tell I'm from Rhode Island and I'm not from Rhode Island, so
Way off.
Say
I
yeah.
don't
he
know.
knows that.
I don't think
Say-
you should take that.
Say eight, say,
Yeah, well, sorry,
Sorry to
I
hear
guess.
that. Being accused of a roadie? Come
say,
on.
yeah. Say eight today, say eight today wetlands, eh?
Do you know how many cornfields I've delineated? If it's a dry year, the corn, look for where the corn is green. If it's a wet year, look for where the corn is dead. Because corn doesn't like their feet wet.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh,
So it's flip flop.
good to know.
It's little, boonies knowledge for you. So anyways, so this is Silkhart, and you can see that there's all these different wetland types listed, predicted here versus ours, which is just one big chunk of layer. There it is. Right. So if you click into these, they will tell you generally what type, the color, the hatching changes. But if, oh my gosh, go away. If we go back to here, this one is more technical. It's more scientific. It's called the Gordian classification system. And it will actually describe what it is, what the bottom is, what vegetation grows there, how long is it saturated, has it been excavated, right? So this one has a special modifier H, which is diked and impounded. And I found this one to be more accurate in its description than MassMapper, or not. So, but another fun thing to note, right? That intermittent stream that cuts through the woods, not mapped. So it's only mapped on our local GIS. It's not mapped with the state. It's not mapped nationally. So consistency is difficult with desktop reviews. Okay, Tyler, could you have me? Oh, actually, no, wait, don't turn me off yet. Disregard. Am I okay to move on?
Yep, yep.
Yes.
Perfect. All right, so wrapping up the night quick. I don't know if any of you looked at this scope of services from Beta.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Any issues with it?
No, I read it, no.
Okay, it's everything that we talked about.
Yep.
Again, chain of command, going through shared, everything.
No surprises.
So what I wanted to, again, reiterate, if you need Beta at a meeting, you need to let them know 1 week in advance.
Right.
And then $10,000, and then they'll let the town know and the commission know when $3,000 has been spent. I have covered $5,000 of that. That's in my consulting services. So at this point, I would just ask the commission to cover preemptively an additional $5,000
Makes sense.
from the wetlands fund.
Yep, makes sense.
So one question I had, so, emergency situations, are they, I was just looking for where it said this, are they going out for that, or are we going out for that? I couldn't,
Both. Depends on the type of
yeah, it
emergency.
said technical assistance and emergency certifications as requested. So.
Yeah.
So I assume
So-
technical assistance isn't eyes on, right? I guess that was my
Yeah, or permitting guidance. So I would say
Good
that the
point.
only true emergency you're going to ever receive
Tree.
is if there's a large oil spill, not a
Oh.
tree, actually.
Yeah.
Large oil spill, or if a culvert fails.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Those are the
That or something.
true emergencies.
Yeah.
But I-
Trees falling on a house, it's already gonna be removed. Like that's the things that would require emergency authorization that truly need it are the oil spills or culverts.
I thought
Thinking
you-
along the lines of Mass DEP. If a
thought
tree
you-
falls on a house, Mass DEP isn't gonna say Bo Peep.
I thought you called the ball in a couple tree situations, that maybe not, maybe I'm remembering correctly, but,
So I give emergency authorizations for tree removals, but it's usually after it's fallen.
okay.
It's not during.
Right.
That's,
It's not
maybe
preemptive.
that's,
Right.
Not
Correct.
preemptive.
But that's what I'm saying, so someone's got a tree that's down,
They have to come in. Well, no.
Yeah.
The preemptive.
it gets ratified.
They have to
Yep.
come in. That something that's true comes down, she
But-
looks at it and she goes, yeah, you need to get rid of that right away.
but that's my question, in that situation, we're doing that.
That's you.
We're doing that, yeah.
All right, so
Yeah.
that's what I
Yeah.
was looking for.
Yeah.
Okay, got
Yeah,
it.
she's
Yep.
really, she's
And
really
then-
actually an extension of us.
Right,
We're
no,
not the
right,
field.
that's kind of what I figured,
Yeah.
that's what I was asking.
Yep.
So,
So for trees, I would say you guys. I will also, I hope I don't eat crow or offend anybody that's watching on TV here. A lot of people believe their trees are an emergency and they're just not. I understand they're looming, they're giant, they're big, you see them. I'm not discounting the feeling of discomfort, but usually not an emergency unless they're already down. Then that is on the commission. That is something that you can handle. That is something that you guys know. Pretty easy, right? So if someone comes in with a down tree, or any inquiry, I'll go back again with the schedule. Someone's gonna come in, Tyler's gonna take their name and number down, and unless it's oh my God, 50 gallons of oil is going into the Charles right now, or, oh my God, this culvert failed and now you're getting backwater and, there's one of the water treatment plants is flooded and everything's getting released. True emergencies, he's gonna take down everybody's name and then he's gonna send that in a list to Jeff and Mark and Beta. And then Jeff and Mark are gonna look at that, they're gonna say, yep, we can handle this, we'll go down on a site visit, we can do this is fine, this is administrative. Beta, this is what we need you to do, this is what you should do. And then Beta will provide a response.
Okay.
If it is one of those true emergencies, which is likely going to actually get funneled through DPW first, or fire department, they're just gonna contact Beta.
So like if a culvert is backed up, then DPW is gonna come out and look at it. And then that's it?
It's not a backed up, it's a failed culvert, so technical wordage difference. What you're referencing like the other day, that's regular scheduled maintenance.
Okay.
Failed culvert is like what happened on Prospect
it's
Street,
actually destroyed. It's
where the
actually
culvert
damaged.
completely
It's actually
collapsed.
damaged. Yeah, like it can't,
Okay.
literally can't
Yep.
function, even if you cleaned it out, it wouldn't have functioned, it's literally like a wall's gone.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So that's a true emergency to get the infrastructure back up versus Beaver's dammed it, someone threw one of Delcart's posts into the Miller Brook and it's floated down the way and it gets stuck. So not generally an emergency. DPW has rotations that they do. They may come out more frequently, especially depending on a butter phone calls. But, so there's that. Did I answer your question, Mark?
Indeed you did.
Okay. And if you want Beta to look at trees too, that's fine, they can.
No, I think
It's
we're
really,
yeah, it's pretty academic. That's why I was thinking, just want to make sure
Okay.
it was just clear to, yeah.
yeah, I mean, 3 years, and I don't want to jinx it, but there hasn't been a tree on a house. It's usually a fence, a shed,
Yeah,
something like that. And those that, again, it's either down or those that come in and they've already called tree companies. So then they already have the information in hand to say like, yes, it's coming down Monday. So, okay, so then you would just need to vote to approve the scope and fee for anything above and beyond $5,000.
I will give you a motion to approve any scope and fee above $5,000.
Second.
Vote
Vote approve.
Vote to approve.
Vote to approve.
Approve.
Approve?
Approve.
Call.
Approve?
Approved.
Perfect. And then I'll just share what I have. Real quick, again, on scope and fees, Beta provided a scope and fee for the bylaw update. So that's processing to go, through accounts payable. That's about $7,000 right now.
Okay.
Again, though, like we tell all applicants, if it's not expended, it's not expended. Like, we get the money back, so.
Okay.
That's a
Earth
great
Day
business
event.
model, right? Pay me the maximum it might cost.
It's like a retainer.
Yeah,
Already say it is.
yeah, I get it, yeah.
Earth Day event, did anyone think any bit more on kids crafts? Anything like that?
I thought of a couple.
All right.
Sure. Is there anything, well, pitch it to the commission and let me know if I need to buy anything.
Right.
I didn't know if maybe some like biome, like they can make their own. I saw this cute little thing where they can make their own biomes out of mason jars. They take like, I thought maybe since we're gonna be at Delcart, they could take a little bit of water and some plants and put it in there, and then that way it introduces the natural like invertebrates and stuff like that into their biome, and they can last for years. So.
I love that idea.
And then there was another one that was cute. It was like these little signs, and they have different cloud shapes and the names of them, and they're cut out, and you can hold them to the sky and see the different. I thought that was a cute idea. And then maybe like the coloring pages and scavenger hunt. I thought that would be nice.
That we have. I have scavenger hunt for Delcart pre-made.
Wow, that's good.
And actually, as a follow-up, we already have a guidebook and an ID book for Delcart. And those are also now in the library backpacks. I connected with Kelly, so.
All right.
So I can provide those. If there's specific coloring pages, please send them to me so I can just print them. Commission, do you have any? I think, but I don't want to, actually, you know what, you guys talk. I'm commandeering.
So we're last time I can't remember the resolution, we were talking about tables. I mean, we have one official COMCOM table. I've still got it in my basement from the farmer's market days, so we can make use of that.
I've got a big table.
Okay. So we got-
There's 4 tables out there too,
4 tables.
Where's that?
At Delcott.
at Delcart.
Is there a shed or something like that out there?
No, it's just.
There's a pergola.
Oh, picnic tables. Oh,
Oh, yeah.
I was thinking like a folding big white table.
Yeah, that's what I
No.
got. All right, so you and I bring a folding
Oh,
white table.
and Bricolage, we have like big posters, the natural posters.
Yep, I have those.
Yeah, yeah.
But is there feedback on the crafts?
Oh,
I think, I like the cloud one, I've seen that one. I think the biomes, personally, is probably the most autonomous
Okay.
for kids to do.
Biomes.
that's cool. I like the scavenger hunt. Right? Then
We-
you said-
yeah.
Yeah, you said you've got that all wrapped up.
Yeah,
already.
it's just something they can take during their woods walk.
Yeah.
This is something to keep people around the park, or that don't want to go out and hike.
Who was the forester that we had confirmed? It wasn't,
Tom, Downey might make an appearance,
Mike-
but
Mike-
I don't know.
Mike may, okay. But it was Tom.
But if you like the biomes idea, what I need is an approval to buy things
So, do you want?
from out of the event fund that you have.
Can we just vote to give Preeta Lai autonomy to buy what she needs out of the?
Aye.
Yes.
Aye.
Yes.
Aye,
Okay.
yes. Yeah, it's a
Thank
given.
you.
It's a given, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Nicole, please let me know what I need to get.
I can send you the
Okay.
did you
Good
want to
idea.
get it? Get it? I mean, because you have a lot on your plate. I don't know. I mean, is that
It's-
okay?
It's easier. I have the business account
Oh,
for
okay.
Prime, so
Okay,
I'll
okay.
just put it in there. And then when I get the invoice, I'm just gonna say it goes through this account.
Okay, so I'll just email you and I'll send you the
Yep.
list. What I
Yep.
like.
Any coloring pages, please send them my way. So then that's one, like, so I don't have to spend time looking up coloring pages. Scavenger hunt, that's already made. We have an Earth Day bingo for Del Cart. We have the guidebook.
Good ideas,
Um,
Nicole. Thanks for putting the time into it. I appreciate that.
I love that. So tables we talked about. I also wanted to mention that someone asked if they could come table to talk about native plants. I just said, sure, more the merrier, that's fine. Posters. So at some point, someone will have to arrange pickup of everything. Probably, I mean, it can be, we can discuss it at the next meeting. Although just, knock on wood that I don't disappear in the next 2 weeks, but maybe sooner is better. So perhaps when I get everything for the biomes, I could send an email out and say, does somebody want to come pick stuff up?
Yeah.
Okay. So we have the posters, we have tablecloths.
Chairs?
I can see
Do we have chairs?
what else.
Chairs with the tables or no?
No, typically,
No.
we just, I think, use the picnic tables.
We use big tables?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the other tables are just
Okay,
for
okay,
display,
okay,
now that
okay.
I think about it.
Yep.
All right, yeah.
Yep.
I can see what other swag I have from Downey, like tree ID books, things like that. And then I put vittles on here. I'm trying to fit into Franklin. See? I try. It's very, very hard.
Hey, one
I
thought
don't,
I had, not to be a little black rain cloud, but, should we put something on the website that people can see if it's gonna rain and we need to scratch, just so people.
Or do we have a rain date?
Well, usually we just pull it, I think, but we could talk about a rain date.
you didn't decide a rain date yet.
No.
If you want, I mean, I think at the next meeting, you may be able to have a better indication of weather at that point.
Yeah,
And then, I mean, then you're giving still 2 weeks' notice.
okay.
Something to consider, or you could do it now. I definitely think giving people more time is better than not, but I'd also hate to have both days be rainy, given current weather patterns.
That's what made me think about it.
Do we know when the rec department's Earth Day is?
They're doing theirs on the 19th.
That's Easter Sunday, right?
Before, that's,
Easter
Yeah.
Saturday?
Or Easter, yeah. Okay.
I do want to mention that there is a Lions Heart, 9th grade Lions Heart boys group is spreading seeds in the afternoon on the 27th. They couldn't attend our event, but they still, wanted to participate. So I gave them a big bag of native seeds to spread by the turtle area. Just while you're thinking. Do you want to table the rain date?
No, let's, guys, look at this and decide yes.
Okay.
Yes or no, and if yes, what day? Let's just do it. The great thing
Well,
about
the next
Microsoft
meeting-
applications is you have plenty of time to drink your coffee.
Well, they open up, I think.
It's insane. Okay. Come on, just go. All right, it's 27th.
I mean, I guess the following weekend,
27th, 4th, would be
fourth.
the 4th of May. I mean, that works for me.
We had, we talked about 10 to 1, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what I would do.
Okay,
4th.
sounds good.
Let's just do that. If, again, unless you guys have, somebody has serious reservations, that'll be a rain date. And that makes sense too. Same time, same day of the week, same times, just 1 week later. That's easy for people to remember. Especially parents. Because if they can come on the 27th. Again, parents, that probably means that they can come on the 4th, means they don't have any sports or anything going on.
That's a good point.
I'm just saying, right?
Okay.
And then vittles.
Well,
Do you want food? Do you
Yeah.
not want food?
yeah.
What about food trucks? Like an ice cream truck or some kind of food truck?
Something healthy. A Clover truck.
Cousin's Lobster Truck.
Yeah. We get a Clover truck, man. That'd be
Those
like
things are
amazing.
good.
No, I know, no.
You ever had,
That's-
I can't put
That's
food.
insane. That place is insane. I got sick. I was going to, because they kept going to Lovell's
Oh,
up
yeah.
there in Medfield.
Yeah.
I kept passing, going, yeah, I'm just going for a sandwich, Oh, God.
I can call the ice cream truck, yes.
Well, also,
Think
just want to point out that 1 year long ago, Big Y actually gave us pizzas. They gave us pizzas. So that was pretty cool. I was gonna call the Big Y and see if they might be able to think about donating some food for a good cause. Or maybe, like, give us a discount or something. But man, it would be great if we could, food truck.
Is there any place though that you would like me to look at? Because then I can just put it in order and then we can get an invoice for it. So you could do like Roche Brothers, you could do Birchwood. I mean, you have,
Birchwood is
I
good.
think like
Yeah, Birchwood.
1,500 plus in your event fund,
Yeah.
which is given by donations from the community,
Right,
not the revolving fund.
right. I mean, it would be, our money would go further at one of the grocery stores than would at Birchwood, clearly, to be honest.
Sure.
Fire wagon pizza truck.
Ooh, I like that. Fire wagon,
Sounds pretty good.
fire wagon.
Pictures look nice. Get a pizza food truck?
You know what I'm gonna do? Wait, let me do this. Do you guys, does anybody go to Craft Roots Brewery in Milford? Really?
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, they have the most amazing food trucks that come every single Saturday. So that guy has like a list, he must have like a catalog.
Oh, there you go.
So let me talk to the owner of Craft Roots.
So actually, sorry, Jeff, I would actually call the health department if you're looking for food trucks because they have to be licensed in Franklin.
Oh, they do?
Oh, that's a good tip.
Oh, so all the guys, so all the food trucks that come to the farmer's market, they have to go
Yes.
through
They go through the Board of Health for $100, and then if they wanna go someplace else in town, they have to get re-inspected, I think it's for another 50.
wow,
So to come
Yeah,
for
or they get a
one-shot
year
deal.
permit, yeah.
okay.
Well, they'll have some people though. All right.
Well, I mean, we could offer to pay the fee, I mean, big deal, I mean, $100 or whatever it is. Who cares?
I wouldn't have the commission pay for another department's permit. That I would not recommend that.
Okay. Okay, anyway, it's really obnoxious, but, okay, but they have like a list, like of approved
It's
trucks?
on their website.
Oh, it is, okay, approved trucks.
Okay. Well, then definitely at the next meeting, that needs to be scheduled out so I can make
Okay.
sure that I can put them on an order and invoice them. Again,
Okay.
accounts payable, especially recently, they're not very fond of reimbursements.
Yeah,
So I need to have enough time to schedule, order, know what you want to order, get it invoiced, get it paid.
So,
And they have to be a vendor with the
question
town.
of a point of ignorance, I mean, does the food truck just survive off the food they sell there, or are we like paying them to?
no,
It depends on the food truck.
Yeah.
Sometimes the food truck will say, you have to guarantee me X amount in sales.
Yes.
If I come up short,
yeah,
you pay the difference.
yeah, you know.
Other ones just know they're gonna do all right.
Yeah, he's right.
They might shy away from a Delcott thing, cause it's
Small.
it's
Yeah.
small.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what I was almost wondering if, I mean, if it's something like that, are we better off just supporting a local vendor, right? Like, would, Birchwood send somebody over there with a table and sell slices?
Yeah, I think Berkshire is gonna like be really expensive.
All right, well, bad example, but, I don't know, I mean, I like the guy at Max Roast Beef does good pie, right? They're pretty cool.
You know, Max is a good thing. Yeah, you know, Max.
So
is
I-
pretty.
What about Mac City too? I mean, if we're talking about kids, they like mac and cheese. Mac City, I don't know. They have mac and cheese.
I'd also consider the time frame of your event
It's
and
lunchtime.
weather pending.
Yeah.
I mean, 10 to 1, but
Max Roast Beef does the sausage that's sliced instead of crumbled, and I really like that. Just
Well,
gonna put that
also
on
that
there.
guy is really into the community too. He's not big.
So my kids, if there was.
Sausage.
That's
good with sausage.
They wouldn't care what time it is.
Yeah.
They would just go there.
But he might solve for serving it and, like, we're gonna guarantee somebody some money rather than guarantee it to him.
Well, at least we would, yeah, we could actually at least ask them how much would it be worth your while.
Yeah. Yeah, what,
One thing to consider is parking. Trucks take up a lot of space.
Parking sucks.
But he's,
So-
that's why I like it, he's probably just gonna have a table, not a truck. He's got a food truck.
I mean, yeah,
the ice
back on
cream
food
truck that came before, they drive down the access road.
That's good.
It's not where people park.
We get a pontoon boat.
Yeah.
Well, like tiki party, tiki party, tiki party.
Tiki party. We get a grass skirt event.
We'll have the lakeside bar. Everybody bring your trunks, everybody bring your trunks, we'll have a lakeside
going
tiki
on.
bar.
It's going off piste really quickly.
Isn't there a dock now?
Okay,
Gotta
well,
be.
just let me know what you decide by the
Got enough
next
of this?
meeting.
That would be.
Yes.
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 So much trouble.
It
It'd be
is
so
warm.
ridiculous.
I don't know if you can see how red my face is, but my face is pretty red.
Pretty, so
Um,
much trouble. Like, we're spending
and
your money
then-
wisely, Franklin. Here's a tiki
But
bar.
here's the case, should we decide tonight, there's a chance Sprinkle I might not be here 2 weeks from now.
Thank you.
Well, we don't have enough, we need to contact these guys and find out what, we don't have enough information to do that. We need to understand what they, I mean, it may be impossible, given, these guys might say, well, $10,000 is like the minimum thing. Well, sorry, we can't do it.
Okay, that's fair.
I have no idea.
I mean, I'll give Max Roast Beef a buzz and just shoot out an email, all right? I mean,
That's fine. And I'll talk to the Big Y, and I'll try to get the approved truck, I'll look at the approved trucks, maybe make some calls there. Just if I can do that, that's a good. Max is that's a very good idea.
all right.
Sounds good. And then the only other comment that I have, unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but Nicole, sorry to put you on the spot. For signatures, do you think you'll be able to come in by next Wednesday, like by 6? So anytime tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday by 6?
With this,
You are muted, but I can see you nodding, so I'll just assume that it's a.
Yes.
It's okay.
Yes, tomorrow would be, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I hope, I'll try to wear a mask. I don't want to get anyone sick, so.
I won't be there. Well, thank you. I can't speak for everybody else. I think I am at risk. So, thank you. Apologies to everybody else. Sorry, Tyler.
All right.
All right, with that, I don't have anything else.
Okay, are we done, guys? I think.
We're done.
We vote
Conversation.
We vote to close the meeting for tonight. Yes, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, Captain.
Bye.
Thanks, Bree. Thanks,
Thank
Nicole.
you.
Feel
Don't we
better.
have- don't we have 4 things to sign or
Recording
something like
stopped.
this, Tyler?